Recording in progress.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Joan, Sophie, Haley.
Everybody.
Hi, Kevin.
Good evening, Kevin.
It looks like we have a quick one in front of us.
I think so.
That's nice for a change.
Yeah.
Sal is not going to be here tonight.
Sal's not. No, that's right. Give it a minute and then we'll get started. Hopefully Carrie will join us. And is Maureen
She is scheduled to be here.
Okay.
Haley is absent tonight as well.
Mhm.
Hello. Sorry to
Hey,
be
Carrie.
late.
Not at all.
Hey, Carrie.
How was everybody?
Good.
Very well. How about yourself?
Hey. Really glad it's February.
I don't know. This January didn't bother me so much as far as a time standpoint. It
Oh my
bothered me for other
God.
reasons, but
Yeah.
It was the longest month in the world.
it's the strangest thing. For me, it wasn't this year. It usually is the
wasn't?
worst month of the year and
Yes.
drags on and on and on. And all
Right.
of a sudden, I'm like, wait, it's February?
Well,
The first time it's happened in a long time. So I didn't mind it this year.
I'm glad for you. I'm envious because it was, yeah. And
Yeah,
cold.
Kevin, you got to give us a
Long
tip. This
cold.
month would not end. This month would not end.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It wouldn't end. It just wouldn't end.
It's
You were
usually the case.
lucky man.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
with you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's always, right? I always halfway through, I'm like, oh, that's right. It's always like the longest month of the year.
And we didn't even do a lot of like ski vacations, which sometimes we'll do in January, take advantage of some, in-service days and holidays and what have you. We didn't even do that. So that usually would speed it along. So one of those just weird months for me.
yeah.
I'll take it.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so let's call the meeting to order. I'll take a roll call. Addie,
Ati Bengali,
Carrie,
I am here. Hello.
we're here. Sophie,
Sophie's here.
Kevin,
Here.
Joan,
Here.
and Rick here. So we have a relatively short agenda tonight. Depending on how loquacious all of our members are.
do I
Carrie,
feel-
why do you suddenly feel guilty?
I because
Pointing at you. Pointing at you.
but you guys told me that I have good things to say.
You have good.
that
You
I'm
do.
useful.
We're
Very
welcome.
wise.
We welcome them.
Public health. Yes.
Yeah, sort of. Thank you.
We're going to review our minutes from last month, public comment, and as of now, we have no residents online. And then we're going to have an administrative hearing just on tobacco violation, and hopefully Maureen Busby will join us in a few minutes.
Good.
And then just wrap up with our usual updated reports, nursing updates with Liv. And then that's it. So with that in mind, we'll just go directly to the minutes from January 8th. Were there any updates or changes or suggestions on the minutes? That
Nope.
looked pretty good to me.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Haley.
Oh, there's Maureen.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Carrie, second. Vote Carrie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
and Rick, yes. Not seeing anybody, any residents for public comment. We'll move on to the West Street Mobile Mart tobacco violation administrative hearing. So I'm going to call to order the administrative meeting. I'll make a motion for that. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Oh, God.
We'll vote on this. Carrie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
and Rick, yes. So in terms of this hearing, basically this is an opportunity for us to hear what happened with the tobacco violation, and then to hear from the mobile station, and I see Mr. Sordella is here, as to what exactly transpired, the reasons, and what kind of action steps to prevent this from happening. This is the first violation. $1,000 fine has already been paid, and there's a mandatory 3-day license suspension for the sale of tobacco products. And so with that background, I'll turn it over to Aday. We'll hear from Aday if you can introduce folks relative to this hearing. And we'll hear from, I guess, probably Maureen, and from Mr. Sordillo. We'll have any opportunity for discussion or questions, and then we'll wrap up. So Aday, I'm going to take it from here.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Lopez. On January 12, 2026, at approximately 10:47 a.m., during a supervised compliance check, a nicotine product was sold to a minor at the West Street Mobile Mart. The violation comes with a $1,000 fine and a mandatory 3-day suspension of the store's tobacco license. Mr. Sodillo is here on behalf of the establishment. If you have any comments regarding this violation.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I didn't know there was a 3-day suspension. I didn't see that in the letter. I see just a fine of $1,000, and then if you get another violation in 3 years, it's kind of tough. is a $2,000 fine and then the suspension. I'm reading the letter again. So
So that's
you
that's
have
the
a 3-day
purpose of
suspension?
that's the purpose of the hearing. So if let's say the violation was false, inaccurate, this would be the time for you to tell the board why, and if the suspension is not valid, then it's not valid. If it is, it is.
Well, we didn't even know we had a violation until we got the letter, and we didn't know who, if anybody, sold to the minor. And we had to go, and I asked all my employees who were working that day, and they all swore they were checking IDs. They all said, I have a sign up saying, if you violate, you have to pay the $1,000 fine. I know I can't do that, but I figured it might make them a little more cautious. So anyway, we had to search the video to see what happened. I guess no one came in and told us that. I thought you came in and would say, hey, tell us that we were in violation right after the incident. But anyway, we searched the video and we did see the video and was one of our employees, and the person he sold to definitely didn't look like a young kid. So, I mean, I don't know what else I can say.
Did he check, in the video, did you see your employee check an ID to check on his?
No, he didn't, watch the video. The person who did it, when I talked to him, he said he checked all the IDs. I had to show him the video, and he just doesn't remember doing it. And I mean, it's we don't want to sell the minors, and we've been there 20 something years. I don't know. I think one time we did get another violation a few years ago. But all I can do is counsel the employees and train them, and we keep reminding them. We actually had a little discussion because we had a check at one of my other stations, and when we do that, we just make sure the managers say, "Hey, we just had a check, so make sure you're checking everything." And apparently, he had no reason. He was surprised he did it. He said doesn't remember doing it. Didn't remember when I showed him the video. I mean, there's not much they can say. When you do it, you do it.
Maureen, do you want to make any comment about that day and what happened, or?
Sure. Just to flesh it out a little bit for anybody who might be wondering, I did a complete round of checks that day in Reading with a 19-year-old trained, we call them youth buyers, trained youth buyer. They have very specific instructions about what to ask for. They don't have an ID with them. In case they're asked for an ID, they can say truthfully, no, they don't have one. In this case, the youth went into the store, bought the Zyn pouches, came out. We always tag them and bag them and put them away as evidence. But I do want to address the comment about no one came into the store to tell us. And I understand why Mr. Sardilla made that comment. We used to, I'd say maybe 3-4 years ago, and before that, after a compliance check, if there was a sale, I would go immediately into the store and address the situation and say, we're doing compliance checks in Reading today, and the young person you just sold to is underage. That's a violation, and you'll hear from the Board of Health. But the state program doesn't allow us to do that anymore. So we stopped doing that, one, for the safety of the youth, so that person isn't readily identified by people in the store. And there have been situations, not in any of my towns, but there have been situations where a clerk or an owner came out and accosted the youth or the adult supervisor. So to protect us from that happening, we're just not allowed to address it immediately. I go back to the office, I write up the violation, send it to the health director, and then the health director sends out the order. So I sympathize with that change. My preference would be to go into a store immediately and tell the clerk that was there that there was a violation, give the clerk a chance to call the manager or owner and tell the manager or owner that happened, but we're just not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, it makes it a lot tough when you don't do that because we don't even know what happened until we get the letter. And then we have to then talk to the employees. And I think in all honesty, he didn't think he did it. So then we have to go through the video, and it takes a while to go through the video. But I understand your position. It's just to be, I thought you always did that because the last time it happened, they did come in. And do you still come in when we're inspected and we don't sell?
I don't, after a compliance check, whether you sell or not, I don't go into the store.
But you used to,
So
though, didn't you?
I come and go, and hopefully you don't see me. But frankly, I wish I could go into the store immediately after a sale. I'd rather address it right then and there.
Yeah,
But I
I'm
also
sorry to hear that
understand,
happen.
yeah, I understand the state's position about safety of our youth buyers.
Yeah, I do also.
Yeah, and just to chime in on that real quickly, I I agree with the state, Maureen, completely on that. But I also take it another step further, and Mr. Sedillo, don't take this to offense. I don't want other owners alerting other owners that we're doing compliance checks in the same day as well. So I prefer that we don't.
It wasn't one owner. It was I own both the stations, and well, that's the other thing. I mean, how would we even know if they're not coming? How do we know we got a compliance test? I was pretty sure about, I don't know, a few weeks ago, one of my employees said that we were testing. They came in and congratulated us that we did the right thing. It was in 250 Main Street in Stoneham.
Different town, that's why.
I could be mistaken. I don't know. Maybe they were talking about.
It's
It's
not actually a bad. It's not a bad policy to think about to send out letters after the fact, after it's all been said and done. That's something we can certainly think about to send something out saying, hey, we were in on such and such a date, and your employee did a great job, and congratulations that you met the compliance. It's really not a bad thing to think about that we could adopt. I think it's just it's a town by town thing. That's the big difference between it.
That's
I
correct.
would make just two comments about the letter. One is that it is dated January 12th, which is the day of the violation. So the turnaround time to get the letter out, if that is in fact when it was generated, was fairly quick. Although U.S. mail, it's like 2 days later, so it isn't on the spot, but it's not at a distance. And then the second thing, Mr. Sodillo is correct that the letter does not refer to the mandatory 3-day suspension. It goes on to talk about the 7 and 30-day suspensions for second and third violations, but doesn't mention that that in the for the first violation. So that's something we could probably edit that letter so it's complete in the future. Mr. Sodillo, do you have any do you rely on your employee to check the ID, or do you have any scanning software that scans ID and can identify someone who's underage? How does that work in your system?
Well, you asked me a question because if the screen froze up for about 5 or 6 seconds, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I can ask it again. Do you have any systems in place like scanning machines or software or something?
Yeah, they scan the license. The employee that
They do.
He said he scans all the licenses.
Okay, so you have a system that scans the license and then it pops up if the person is underage.
But the way it works, I believe, is whenever we scan tobacco, then the screen will pop up and ask you to detect the age. If you scan the license, then that screen just goes away. So it's like saying, yeah, he's okay.
Okay.
I understand. I was talking about it with my employees and my manager at West Street, and he's from New Hampshire. And it's. I know you're trying to do the right thing, and I agree with it. I don't smoke, but it's really hard for the employees to check everybody's license when they're like, they look like me. I'm like 78 years old. In New Hampshire, you can't scan cigarettes until you scan the license. So they can't sell cigarettes. And that would make it easier for us because we do have some issues. We had an issue just about 2 weeks ago where a kid came in. He was 21, but he didn't the 2004 thing,
Yes.
and he was from out of state. He didn't believe us, and he was pretty upset. And one of the customers said, "Well, you can go next door because they're in Woburn and they don't have that rule." And he actually came back and apologized. But just like your people who do the check, they have to be careful. Our employees, sometimes they're by themselves at night. Sometimes they're elderly. So I know there has to be a system in place, but there is a little issue with their safety too. We get some belligerent people sometimes. But what can you do? You have to work with the system.
Right. And so you're aware of the January 1st, 2004 date in terms of having, having a birthday.
Yeah, if you were born after January 2004, no matter how old you are, well,
Correct.
21 and so many months, you can't buy cigarettes.
Right. So
And that's city by city. Which I find unusual, and that's causing an issue also.
Yes. Well, there's an effort to engage more and more cities and towns, and hopefully at some point in the future it will be a statewide law, but not now. And that makes it complicated. I agree.
And I mean, I hope you understand that we don't want to sell cigarettes to minors. I have 3 stores. I probably have 30 employees, and we have pretty good turnover. And we just do our best, and we figure, we have to trust the employee that he's going to do. I mean, I get a sign posted right on the register saying that, explain the rules and saying that if you do get a fine, you have to pay the fine. I would never make them do that anyway, but I mean, it's right next to the register. And we go over quite a bit, because we don't want to lose our license. If we can't sell cigarettes, it's a big deal. I wouldn't mind not selling cigarettes if no one else did. But, they don't come and buy cigarettes. Well, most people buy gas and the other stuff. When I first bought the stations, I wasn't going to sell cigarettes, I thought, until I started running the station and talked to some people who were in the business before me. And we sell, I can't believe how many cigarettes we sell. I would think, I understand it's supposed to be going down, but it doesn't seem like it to me. And you're talking 15 something a pack now. But people still buying like crazy.
Right. That's unfortunate. So any other comments or questions for Mr. Sordillo? Or Mr. Sordillo, do you want to make any more comments before we wrap this up?
No, I mean, just that we'll try harder, but we did make the violation and we have to be responsible for it.
Yeah. So
I do have one comment.
yes.
Excuse me. I believe that there's signage available that could be posted inside the store about the tobacco-free generation date. And that may help Mr. Sordillo with people who are not aware of it to
Yeah, we have those signs posted right on the counter.
Oh, you do?
And it really, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it is. It really hasn't been that big of an issue.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, good.
We posted the sign before you guys sent them out because I thought it was going to, be a big problem for my. I have to worry about you. Worry about your people who doing the inspection. I have to worry about my employees also. I've had to go into the station a couple of times, not because of cigarettes, because there was a person causing a problem and wouldn't leave. But you have to deal with what you have to deal with.
Okay, so we're going to adjourn the administrative hearing. Health Director Solarin will be in touch with you to follow up. There is a mandatory 3-day suspension for tobacco sales, but you can work with a day to figure out a time to do that. And if you want to, the tobacco regulations for the town of Reading are on the town of Reading website, and you can always review them there if you have any questions. And we will fix that letter so that people are aware of the consequences.
Okay,
So
we don't,
thank you for your time tonight.
we don't do the suspension till we hear from you.
Yes, I will be in contact with you.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Right.
Okay, a day, do you
I had to
want
sign off.
You can stay if you'd like, Mr.
Yeah, you can
Shapiro.
stay. We have a lot of
That's all
interesting
right.
things.
I wasn't too happy to be here in the first place. Thank you
What a
anyway.
great
Bye-bye.
group.
Thank you.
All right.
Mm.
All right.
Day updates, reports.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Lopez. It was a busy January for us. We had, the snowstorm. We had a lot of, pipe leaks and pipe bursts everywhere. Restaurant closures and things like that.
Fires.
Fires, it was very busy.
Mhm.
There was one point I felt like I was working like 4 days without sleep. That was how bad it got.
Right.
So
But
not to interrupt you a day, but I'm going to. Sorry.
yeah.
We should just make note that because it was on the agenda, that the Baptist Church has rescinded their want for the outdoor refrigerator, and that's why we're not discussing it. That's all I want to say.
Good point.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. So in January, we had 6 housing complaints, inspections. We had 1 condemnation. The house was unfit for human habitation. We had 4 solid waste inspections, 15 food establishment inspections, 2 food establishment re-inspections. We investigated 1 foodborne illness. We had a huge fire at one of the dwellings on James Street. 15 temporary food events. There were 2 change of ownership for 2 restaurants and 3 body art inspections. I will now pass it over to Liv for nursing updates.
Sorry, Liv, can I just ask one question real quick before you get into that? Ade, do we know if the firefighter is well that was taken out of that fire?
The last time I checked, the firefighter was in the recovery stage.
Okay.
All right, Liv.
Just get my documents pulled up. Okay, everyone, happy February. The year of January is over. Except for Kevin, where it was a normal month.
It was great. I don't know what to do. It was by so fast.
All right.
May
I'm
we
out.
all be blessed with the speed of Kevin's month.
Yes.
All right. So for January, we had 66 flu cases and 30 COVID cases. That is actually a little bit different. I did some digging from last year's data and I looked at what our flu and COVID cases were for January of 2025, and we actually only had 16 COVID cases, we had a much lower number of COVID cases last year, which begs the question, did not enough people get the COVID vaccine this past year? So something that I plan on looking more into as the winter continues. But I thought that would be a fun piece of tidbit for our board members who geek out on that kind of stuff. Anyways, so February, we have 3 blood pressure screenings for the month. I did our Pleasant Street Senior Center one last week. I have the Reading Public Library on the 23rd, and then Frank Tannerville on the 19th, next Thursday. Normally I would be having the public library next Monday. However, we will not be here as it is President's Day. Okay, I just wanted to put out what the Mass Guidance put out for immunization recommendations. They are saying to please follow the American Academy of Pediatrics immunization schedule for routine immunizations of infants, children, and adolescents. This is a little bit different than what we might see on the the CDC websites, perhaps, but this is what the Mass DPH is leading towards. And February is also National Heart Month. Tips to prevent heart disease: stay active, eat healthy, regular checkups, and avoid smoking. Thank you, Middlesex Essex Public Health Collaborative, for this wonderful image. And then it is also Low Vision Awareness Month in February. Protect your vision, eat the right foods, get regular eye exams, wear your sunglasses, and practice the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, take a 20-second break to look 20 feet away. Help your eyes. We have a vision van coming up next month for our Reading employees. I just got that situated, I think like today or yesterday, so just didn't make it into the slideshow this time, but we do have the 2020 vision on-site vision van coming to do eye tests on in the Reading Town Hall parking lot.
What date?
Oh, I'm so sorry. That will be March 9th. Monday, March 9th. February is also Marfan Syndrome Awareness Month. Know the signs, save lives. I don't know if you know of anyone in your life that has Marfan syndrome. I worked in orthopedics for a very long time, saw it a lot. It's quite interesting. And yeah, bring awareness. Hands-only CPR class. I have my class coming up on March 11th. That is next month. I still have a few slots for that date, and after that, the next one will be in May. Oh, we were just, so the Middlesex Essex Public Health Collaborative, MEPHC, purchased a second set of CPR dummies, and they have been kind enough to let Reading be the storage unit for that area. So we now have some brand new CPR dummies. They said that we use them the most, so we can keep them here. So I'm very excited about that. All right, and then just bringing attention still to our take back supplies programs. I take diabetic equipment as well as any medical unused and unexpired medical supplies. All right.
Thanks, Liv.
Thank you. I'm gonna unshare.
Terry, you had a question or
I
comment?
have a comment and a question. First comment, thank you for highlighting the American Pediatric Association recommendations for the vaccine schedule. I think it's extremely important in a time when there's a lot of information out there and it's difficult for parents to be able to sometimes parse through, the different sources and the different recommendations. And we're fortunate to be in Massachusetts with the leadership of Commissioner Robbie Goldstein, Dr. Robbie Goldstein, and the Mass Department of Public Health, working with other states to help provide clear information and guidance for parents. So thank you for highlighting that. It's really important. And then I have a question. You mentioned the about shared services, the shared services collaborative and the documents. And I'm interested to know if the shared services collaborative is continuing. I know in the past y'all have said that it is helpful and useful for department operations, and I'm curious if that's still the case and if you can talk about any specific benefits.
Ade, do you want to speak, or would you like me to speak to that?
I'm not understanding the question. What aspect of the shared services are you referring to?
I don't know what I'm curious what Liv made mention of it in her presentation, which led me to ask, oh yeah, so that there's something from that. But I just want to ask if either of you have comment about the value or not value of, is it continuing to be a useful thing for us to be part of? And why?
Yes, we can both comment on it. I think it's a great collaborative. Before I had Z. They helped us out with inspections.
Hmm.
And after hiring Z, the inspector went out with Z and showed him, how to do certain things. So they've been really helpful on the environmental health aspect of things, as well as the nursing part of things as well. And I can let Leave comment on that aspect.
Yeah, so I know that prior to when I started, Leanne Perot, the nurse over there, was doing like some of our epi work in Reading, so I know that was really helpful. I meet with the nurses monthly, in our region, and we do little meetings and collaboratives. We are we're looking at different things to do at like regionally, for all of our towns. I found it a great resource just to like get new ideas and understand how things are done. I know the board knows this, but I was not a public health nurse before taking this job, so it really helped me figure out what I needed to do in order to be successful in this position. So that for me was extremely helpful. Um, they organize an opioid work group every quarter we meet, and talk about how different towns are using their opioid funds. And that is also something that I found to be very helpful because it brings in different EMS services, as well as the different like we have the REPC here in Reading, the collaborative, and so that brings the different collaboratives from the other towns to meet as a region. They've also paid for a lot of training for me as well. I've gotten to do a lot of different trainings through them, which has been great, and I
So
find them to be a very beneficial resource.
absolutely. So you can think of it this way. The MEPHC is a health department run by, multiple municipalities to support individual health departments. So wherever you're lagging, they can, fill in that spot. So
And Carrie, I just met with Jen today, actually.
Right. So, and I want to say, full disclosure, y'all know that I work with a similar group, but every shared services collaborative is different. Because the different towns have different needs. So I know what can be possible for, and from hearing from others, but I know how it works in my 4 towns that I manage, but I'm curious to hear how it's working up here. And I'm glad to hear that you guys are continuing to have a positive experience. Yeah, my regional public health nurse, and Liv, do some collaboration and connection as well. I didn't realize you guys met today, but anyways, I'm glad that it's working well for us. And particularly because I know a day you were short an inspector for a little bit, and um, there was a resource there for you to support the town, right? To make sure the
absolutely.
inspections are still getting done, and that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Day, do you have any other updates?
That's about it. I know that let's see.
Yeah, hi. Can I go back to one of the points about the COVID vaccines? Can you guys
Sure.
hear me?
Go ahead, Woody.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm listening with my family and my wife is poking me in the back, I think the one thing, maybe something to consider is the eligibility and availability of COVID vaccines for different age groups. I think that has changed over time. And it was much harder to get some of the vaccines for certain age groups, especially the younger ones around this year. So I know it's not some groundbreaking revelation, but it's I've been poked by my wife to point that out, and I thought that was a good data point to collect in the overall situation.
Thank you. That definitely 100% would skew the results and data.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty much it for us. the health department. I know that there was a decision to eliminate the endangerment finding earlier today. I'm not sure if the board heard about it.
Can you say more?
Nope, did not hear about it.
Okay.
So there was there was an announcement by the current Trump administration to eliminate a 2009 law that stated that carbon dioxide and other environmental gases are a threat to public health um, and also to climate change. So combination of public health in terms of people with asthma, COPD, those kinds of things, but also in terms of climate change, because as these gases accumulate in the atmosphere, it warms the climate, which results in all these adverse climate changes. And so that was announced today. It's part of the rollback in regulations that the administration is doing around the environment, and will likely result in increased uses of fossil fuel for various processes, which of course increases carbon dioxide and other gases in the environment. Today, as a result, Dr. Goldstein and I forgot the name of person in the other person.
Bonnie Heipel,
Okay.
Commissioner Bonnie Heipel.
Commissioner, they put out a statement that said that, that this is problematic, and went through all the reasonings for it, and stated that we will continue in Massachusetts to, use the science of that's involved here to address this issue, regardless of at the federal level. Of course, when it's not happening at the federal level, unfortunately, it really becomes very difficult to implement. So this statement was drafted, and I wanted, Ade showed it to me late this afternoon, and I wanted the board to see as a sort of simple press release showing that the Reading Health Department, which the Board of Health is sort of part of, finds this problematic, and that we will continue to, go with the science on this going forward and support public health practices, clean air initiatives, and so forth. I don't think this is particularly controversial for anyone in public health. But before this goes out as a press statement, I wanted to make sure the board members saw that in case there were any questions, or I don't want to wordsmith it, but in case there were any concerns or questions.
Thank you, Rick and Ade. I like the, in the second paragraph, I note the, inform residents and support policies grounded in scientific evidence, where we make database decisions, and I appreciate your highlighting that and pointing that out. And I support this.
All right.
All right.
Are there any immediate impacts at Reading or local level that we anticipate, or is this more like a policy position we want to take as the town?
I think it's more of a policy position. I don't know. I don't know how this change at the federal level is going to impact how, let's say, Mass EPA deals with, issues or not. I suspect the state law will still be in effect. I think it's going to have more of a national impact.
Thank you.
This is one of those long tail impacts. So,
Yeah, I would say though, Rick, to your earlier comment, it's probably a highly controversial issue. Maybe not in the public health world, but I can understand that it's coming from our health department, which is fine. Is perfectly normal to put out there, but just don't be surprised. I'll say it that way.
Okay.
Just don't be surprised.
Yeah.
right. No, I take that point, and I think Rick's statement of it won't be controversial for folks in public health. I think that's where that is clear. But understand
Correct.
that just like with vaccines, there is a variety of information out there and a variety of perspectives, and
Good point. Yeah.
Well, like I said, the fact that it's coming from the health department, I think that's the part to me that makes it fine. Obviously, if it was coming from us, it would have to come before us. We'd have to vote on it and all that jazz. And we'd have to hear all sides of the thing, and the whole thing would be a whole night.
Right.
So I think it's simpler this way.
Yeah. Good point.
Coming from the health department, it's known issues, that it's not saying anything that's not known, and it's non-controversial in that regard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Good observations, Kevin.
All right. Any final comments, suggestions, anything else we should talk about? Okay, 45 minutes is not bad. Not bad.
I think we stretched it to 45. Could have got it done a little earlier.
Boy.
So I will make a motion to adjourn. To have a second.
Second.
Kevin, second. Roll call, Carrie. Kevin.
Yes.
Joan.
Yes.
And Rick. Thank you all for your time, your service, and
all right. So not to be a stickler,
Thank
but on my
you.
end, I didn't hear a yes from Kerry or you, Rick. I just heard your name called.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I'll say yes again.
Okay.
I said
Just
yes.
Rick, yes.
Want to make sure.
I agree, Kevin.
It was okay if one of you didn't do it, because we still have a 3-person yes, but both of you did it. I'm like, oh God.
All right. Okay.
Thanks, Kev. Yep.
All
No,
right.
we are out.
And
Later,
that way I
everybody.
can vote one day, guys. That way I can vote. Just saying. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Have a good night,
Good night,
everyone.
everyone.
Good
Take
night.
care.
See you next
Bye.
month.
Bye.